This is Carrie Howell from Cornell University Wellness Program with some tips on things to think about taking with you when you're staying active in the outdoors. So when you're active in the outside and it's cold outside, there's a few things that you might want to consider if you're doing things like hiking during the day, snowshoeing in the backcountry. If you're in areas that are a little bit more remote for the day, think about considering bringing a map with you and a compass, and potentially bringing with you something that's GPS enabled. Just make sure that the battery is fully charged in it. And that can be your phone, it can be a watch, it can be another device. Also bring with you something where you can make an emergency phone call if needed. But again, don't solely rely on those things because battery life doesn't always work out to extend as long as you might be in the woods if something happens. Consider bringing matches with you. They're pretty much a must, or something that has the capability to start fire, like these fire lighters here. There's also liquid fire lighters as well that can be used along with matches, or that have matches in the containers. So bring something in case you do get stuck and you get a little bit cold where you can start a fire. And notice that the matches are stormproof matches, so if they get wet, stormproof matches will still light and have a spark. Always bring with you a flashlight and definitely extra batteries. I've learned this the hard way, where I brought a flashlight with me, gotten stuck hiking, and we went for a little bit longer than expected and it got dark and the flashlight died. We didn't have any extra batteries. Not a good thing, never happen again. Next to that, always bring water with you when you're out in the backcountry or out just hiking around in the local areas, but you know you're going to be gone for a while. Our bodies always need water for rehydration. And it's a good idea to bring something with you that in case you run out of water and you need to rely on a stream and water from runoff from the mountains or things like that, or hillsides, that you can purify that water. So this is just one type of a filtration system. There are also things that are a lot smaller, like tabs, that can be added to water that will kill germs and other things in the water that can make you sick. So bring something with you, whether it's tabs or a filtration system as well. Moving down the line here, we have a rain poncho and also an emergency blanket. A rain poncho, kind of self-explanatory, keeps the rain off of you because in the winter, when you get wet and it's cold, that means trouble, and trouble quick. So bring a rain poncho with you if what you're wearing already doesn't have some sort of a rainproofing on it for an outer shell. And an emergency blanket is extremely lightweight to carry, and it could save your life if you are stuck out overnight or in a cold situation. Emergency blanket, you wrap it around yourself and it reflects the heat back in towards your core. These little babies here that have the spikes on them and the red rubber around that, those are a type of Yak's tracks or a spike that can be added to the outside of your shoe. Yak's Tracks is just one of the most popular brands out there, but there are multiple different brands and makers of this type of thing. So if you're hiking and there's going to be ice, these are fantastic and easy to use. Just slide them on the outside of your boots and the spikes stick into the ice and give you that control when you're walking over that type of terrain covered in the frozen stuff. If you know that your hands and your feet tend to get cold, these types of hand warmers or foot warmers can be really useful. They're carbon, it has inside a pad, and the pad sticks on either your gloves or the soles of your feet, and they're not supposed to be using direct contact with the skin, but instead having something, a thin layer in between you and them. And they provide a lot of warmth. They activate when the product itself is exposed to oxygen, and they'll give off hours of warmth to your hands and your feet. are a few small, kind of easy to carry first aid items. So always having some sort of a pocket knife is a good thing to have, multi-use tool. Having some painkiller, some Band-Aids, and a sterile gauze pad, and then also having something that can be used for a sling, having some first aid tape, triple antibiotic, and in case you come in contact with something that gives you an allergic reaction, a little bit of Benadryl. So these are just a few of many different things. You can personalize your little kit that you bring with you, but they're easy to throw into a camelback or some sort of a backpack or store in jacket pockets as you head outside and go and explore the amazing winter wonderland that we live in. Enjoy.